everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is William and Andrew with Allegory Gallery Interviews, and we're here today with Cheryl Ann Lipstreu.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So why don't you let us know who you are and a little bit about what you do for those who may not know you.
Okay. Well, my name is Cheryl Ann, and I am a professional artist. I do murals, body painting, illustrations, and fine art portraits.
Great. And tell us a little bit about where people may have seen you before.
It always goes back to this.
Right. Well, there are a number of places, but a few bigger than others, maybe.
Your television sets. I was a featured contestant on GSN's Skin Wars Season 2 and Skin Wars Fresh Paint, which is a spinoff of Skin Wars. And it was an amazing adventure in art on national television.
Great.
Yeah, I came in the final 4.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your experience doing that.
My experience filming Skin Wars was really like a roller coaster ride. It was extreme moments of amazing happiness where RuPaul is complimenting my earrings and my lipstick, and I'm just like having fangirl moments. And then it was so hard because we would film sometimes for 14 hours, 15 hours a day and hardly get any sleep, and food was, like it just wasn't, it wasn't the easiest thing to do.
Right.
Is to go on national television, but I'm an extrovert at heart, so I love every minute of it.
That's great.
Great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, awesome. So how did you get into this?
How did I get into body painting?
Into body painting.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I became a body painting model first. A friend of mine, Madeline Greco, she was a nude figure model for a figure drawing class, and at the time I was just coming out of classical school in Asheville, and I had moved back to Winston-Salem. I think this is 2011, like the end of 2010 and beginning of 2011. And so I met Madeline, and she showed me pictures of her art, and it was body painting, and my mind was simply blown. And she and I just kind of instantly struck up an instant friendship. I felt like she was my long-lost sister. She loved colors. I love colors. She loved horses. I love horses.
Awesome.
So it was like, where have you been all my life?
Yeah.
And when she told me she loved horses, I immediately thought, will you come to my parents' horse farm and paint me and my horse? And I didn't even think of myself as an artist at first. I only thought I wanted to become this woman's canvas. And what is this magical thing of body painting? And so she did. She came and she painted me, and that day literally transformed my life. And I became a body painter.
Pictures of that.
When it first came out, right?
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It was a little bit Lady Godiva-esque.
Like Avatar/Avatar. Yeah.
Now, you two have known each other for a while. So how did you meet?
Well, I lived in Asheville for a little time, and my sister also, Sheila, who is also an artist, and with my other sister, Cynthia, who is also an artist, and Cheryl Ann and my sister, Sheila, went to school together at the
Fine Arts League of the Carolinas.
Yeah. Didn't you study with
Ben Long?
Yeah.
Yep, that was our master painter. And Sheila, I think, attended 2 semesters and a couple classes, and it was a really small school. And I just really liked her. Like, she was amazing, and we got along really well. And she would bake chocolate chip cookies. And she even painted me a chocolate chip cookie painting.
That's awesome.
And I think the first painting that I ever saw you do was of a flour sack with a sifter.
Yeah, making biscuits. Yeah.
Making biscuits.
Yeah.
And then the second painting was of onions.
Yeah, the still lifes, because it's a classical training school for like a small master to an apprentice style program. And so I was doing these slow art movement of really taking your time to capture like the light. We used only north light and old masters materials and walnut oils and traditional paint, and that was really a fascinating experience. And I should probably do more still life, since every still life I've painted has sold.
But they take so long.
Yeah, just in that class, so we would work on them 3 days or 2 days a week whenever you had the scheduled class time, and it was a 3-month semester. So that session was a slow study trying to capture the light. And I had never painted that slowly before, and I really enjoyed like learning the process of grinding the pigment, making my own paint, and really appreciated the school for the education that I received. It was amazing.
You have a lot of background in different old master techniques.
Yeah, I've apprenticed under a lot of different painters. I lived in Spain and apprenticed under Senor Javier Pamplona, who's a famous artist, Spanish artist. And I just happened to kind of stumble upon him and his gallery through mutual friends. And he saw my drawings and he took me under his wing and he was like, draw every day, paint every day. And at the time I was just too busy being like a 24-year-old in Spain, like, what that means. Right. So I was like, what do you mean draw every day? And then I was like, oh yeah, if I do draw every day, what's going to happen? And now that's definitely what I do.
Because you did fresco studies and mural studies,
Mm-hmm.
and you did your mural studies here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
right?
at PCAD, Pennsylvania College of Art and Design. They had a mural certification program that was taught by Janet Toth, I think. And that was just a few weeks program, just kind of learning how to project and how to blow a picture up from like 5 inches to 50 feet. Like, how do you make that happen?
Right.
And so that was really fun.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. It was great. I really enjoyed the studies and learning. I've just kind of always known I wanted to be an artist, and that was after I went to PCAD that I decided to move to Asheville. I think that was in 2006, and then I moved to Asheville in 2007.
And that's where we met.
That's where you met.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's great.
have kept in touch.
Yeah, through Facebook. Thank goodness for Facebook,
I
right?
know, all that social media out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've been all over the world since we've last
Seen
hung
each
out.
other, right? Multiple times. Well, I travel for the body painting. There's competitions hosted all around the world. So I do body painting. And I just came back from Daegu, South Korea. There was a competition hosted by the Korean government, and it was like for Visit Daegu. It was like a tourism board, and they wanted to bring artists from around the world, so they decided to have this very prestigious competition and it's for professionals, with really high stakes, high prize money. I think the grand prize was $9,000.
Oh, wow.
And it's really nice,
Yeah.
and so it's like an opportunity for me and my team to go and be hosted by the Korean government and experience their culture. And they took us around and we ate traditional Korean food and went to a Buddhist temple and got
It's
to.
an awesome experience.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was incredible, like a once in a lifetime experience, except for I'm going back again next year.
And didn't you go as a model before?
I did before for Madeline and her husband, the same woman who painted me in 2011. In 2012, they were going to Korea and they didn't have a model. They were just going to use whatever model they could find when they got there. And I said, well, wait a minute. I'll be your model.
Nice.
I love this. And so they were like, okay, well, if you can, find the plane ticket. And so I had all my drawings and paintings from art school, so I hosted an art sale, and I think I was able to fundraise in one night through selling all my paintings.
Nice.
Enough
amazing.
money. I think it was $1,200 to buy the plane ticket, so I was able to fundraise like $1,500 so I could buy my plane ticket and have like a little bit of spending money.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I stayed in Korea for a few weeks and got to do some plein air painting and traveled around. It was just it was lovely. I just had a lovely experience.
So what was your first competition?
My first competition was in 2013, and it was the North American Championships that was hosted in Atlanta, Georgia. And I entered the emerging artist category because even though I'd gone to art school and I'm a painter, I had only been body painting for like 2 months.
Oh, wow.
Like before the competition, I bought my first set of paints
Wow.
and just painted the same design like 10 times and really figured out what I wanted to do. And then I walked into the competition and won it.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That was an amazing experience. And I was like, okay, well, I guess this is something that I can do. Like, I
Right.
can do this really well. And the executive producer for Skin Wars was there at that competition, and she called me and solicited me for the show.
Oh, wow.
So that's how I ended up being on the show.
That's awesome.
So, kind of walk us through a typical body paint.
Okay, so body paintings normally take about 6 to 8 hours because you think about the human canvas, most models are 5 feet to 6 feet tall, just depends. And timed competitions are always 6 hours usually. Skin Wars is a little different because it's for the TV show, so they would have different challenges. It would be 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 or whatever, but it's always usually timed. And it is a head-to-toe process where you literally cover the person in paint and design, and often quite intricate designs that are, many portraits of people, places, all kinds of beautiful landscapes. Like the human body literally becomes a canvas. And for me, I fell in love with that aspect because my canvas has a heartbeat. And what
Right.
could be better than that? And it's
Yeah, that's
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah, so your canvas literally talks to you. And
Right.
yeah.
So what kind of things do you like to paint? I've seen you do camouflages before.
Sure.
And so what kind of topics, or you were talking a little bit about some of the thought that goes into your paintings.
Well, I'm a very spiritual person, and I'm also very intuitive. And my favorite thing to paint is for people to do what I call soul painting.
Okay.
And it's very special. If you can imagine your soul in any colors, any things, and the flowers you love, the colors you love, the places you love, the people you love, your cats, all these things that you love incorporated into an intuitive design on your body. And it's a very healing, transformational experience for the model, for the person that's receiving the art. And they kind of go on this meditation journey because it's 6 hours of standing with me in front of a mirror where you're being completely transformed in art. And so it's just such a moving experience
Right.
for every person that receives the art. And it's an incredible gift. I love it.
And you work with a team doing that, don't you?
I do. I usually collaborate with other artists or assistant artists. I have videographers, photographers, and for the guided meditation tours. It's kind of a new addition. I'm collaborating with an executive consultant who's certified in neurolinguistic training that can really guide a person. And it's almost like a psychiatry session, but
Okay.
it's a personal your meditation. What do you need to work on to elevate that person to a different level? So it's very vibrational and an amazing experience. And
Yeah.
I love doing it. It's my absolutely favorite thing to do.
That's great.
Yeah, that's such a amazing, once in a lifetime kind of experience that you're helping.
Yeah, and I want it to be not, because a lot of people come to me and they're like, oh, I want to be body painted because it's a bucket list thing. Like, I really want to do this. I want
Right.
to, feel this experience. But your canvas, it just washes away. So it doesn't have to be once in a lifetime. You can book me as many times as you want.
And everybody
Pinch you.
changes through time. So
Yeah.
especially
Exactly.
with the
That's
meditational
true.
aspect of it. And
It's, it's really nice. And it's especially healing for the people who receive the art. And when I see the person who's just been painted like shining, like just glowing and feeling so happy, and the way I can describe it is, how when you get a haircut or you buy a fresh
You feel
shirt,
powerful after that haircut. Or
you look good, and
right.
people say, wow, you look great today, or I love your hair, and it just is that good feeling. Imagine that magnified and on steroids times 1,000 because you're body painted and people are just like, oh, you're so beautiful, and all the compliments you get. And it's really a kind of a community experience because it takes a team of people to create the art and capture the magic through photography and film. And then it's a community experience and an interaction with the viewers, whoever sees the person painted, and the love that the person receives in return it's exceptional.
It looks very freeing.
It is, and very moving, and people have different reactions to it, but every reaction is a kind of a source of healing in themselves that they didn't realize that they needed. And to capture those reactions on videos, I've worked with a lot of different videographers, and on my website I have a whole soul painting section where you can read about it and watch videos of people who get painted. I even painted a 74-year-old woman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she does yoga and she's very strong, so for her to stand for the 6 hours wasn't a big deal. You know, we took breaks and she could sit, and then we stopped and ate lunch, and took our time with the painting. But yeah, she was amazing. We had a great time.
But you also do, there's political activism.
Oh, yeah.
In your work as well.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but I really enjoy putting art out there that almost makes people uncomfortable in a way that they need to be aware of these issues and aware of things. And I can walk into a competition and go in front of judges and then have a platform where 18 million viewers saw my art on Skin Wars. And then now it's even more millions because of Netflix. It's on Netflix. And then at the competition where it was filmed in Korea, that was filmed on live television. And so in front of like an audience of over 5 million viewers. And so to have this large of an audience see that my painting was on trans rights or on women's rights or on female genital mutilation or on, all these multiple different platforms that I've done my art for, it's really been life-changing for me. And where as an artist, I'm very humbled and grateful to have the opportunity, but it's incredible to make my art about such poignant problems that exist in the world today and bring it to the attention of others.
Well, I think as an artist, you're using your talents and ability to explore the world in a way that is unique to you and what interests you.
Sure.
So you have this dichotomy of the soul paintings, which is more about the other person, but you also have, your political activism where it's more about you, kind of...
also other people.
Well, but
it's
It seems like your inspiration comes a lot from those you help or could help through this.
Very much so. And it comes a lot through being a female artist and having been, subjected to a lot of what is our patriarchal society that we live in, and a lot of objectification of women in general, and it just pisses me off. And so I really enjoy pissing other people off with my art sometimes. And sometimes to get the point across, like that's what artists do. They just are on the forefronts of change.
It's a way to stretch those borders a little bit.
Yeah, and open people's minds and make them think, wait, what? Because when I did my presentation on female genital mutilation, and that was for body fine art competition in Los Angeles, and I won first place with that painting, but I literally made the judges cry, and 2 of the judges had no idea what it was. These are modern, and there were 3 male judges, and I walk in with my model that I had painted scissors and a rose over her vagina, and I walk in with a razor blade, and I create this dramatic performance, and I go one cut for the 250 million women in over 26 countries who have experienced female genital mutilation. And it's just, the statistics are horrifying out there, and I really want to be able to use my art as a platform to get people aware. Like, they should know about this.
Oh, yeah.
We should know what's happening. And through education, we could stop this atrocities. And if someone is uneducated and they can't read, if they see a picture of a rose with scissors going over it, they instantly understand what this...
They get it.
They get it.
Yeah.
So that's where the art, I think, is so powerful, where it moves people.
I think any good art does that. You're evoking an emotional response.
Right, and sometimes that emotional response is really necessary, because if you considered or think of your daughters or other, you know, like your mothers having to suffer and go through these atrocities that these women are being subjected to, then it really brings it home and you can relate to it.
Yes.
And then you're maybe more inspired to do something about it.
So it's a call to action.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, very much so. And I feel like that is part of my duty and my purpose in life.
So you talked a little bit about your struggles as a woman artist.
Mm-hmm.
So could you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, I mean, it's just everyday life, right? Like, it's a man's world out there. And even though I'm an entrepreneur and I set my own price rates, it's still where male artists are being paid a solid 30% more than female artists. And it is, it's just, women are tired of this. And we are moving in the direction where it is going to come to the forefront of everyone's attention that things really need to change. And so my struggles have just been, I'm going to pay my bills and live my life as an artist, and I don't know how the work's going to come to me. I'm just going to keep putting it out there. And even when I do get the paying jobs, if I don't bid lower than a man, I won't get it.
It's insane.
It really is, and it's like I'm more talented. I have more, more education and etc. But at the same time, it's like this will change.
Yeah.
And the more exposure my art gets, the more my name is out there, then the more people recognize the value. And then I had to go on an inner journey and learn to value myself, and that I deserve to be paid the same amount, because I've always been taught through our society, not necessarily my parents, but through society in general, that women don't deserve as much as a man. And so to break these barriers and to say, no, I deserve to be paid equally, or if not more, for my talent.
I think we're in a really important period of time where people are becoming aware of that.
I agree.
And I think that has a lot to do with social media.
I agree.
And being able to tell the stories that for a long time weren't being told.
Yeah, they were just simply brushed under the rug.
Right.
Yeah, and people didn't want to talk about it, you know.
I think like a lot of issues right now, we're hitting that point where it's coming, but there's that pushback wave at this point. And
Well, people fear change. Mm-hmm. They want to keep everything status quo, even if the status quo is harming them, you know?
Even if it's a quid pro quo. Speaking of politics.
So, what are you doing next?
Oh, next. I have so many adventures coming up. I'm going home for like 1 week, which I will use that time to clean my brushes and prepare and pack my paint. And then I'm flying to Fort Lauderdale to go to Fantasy Fest in Key West, Florida, which is one of the biggest pride parades and festivals. About 60 to 80,000 people will come to tiny little Duval Street on Key West, all looking for body paint and for adventure. And it's a big party with a huge parade. And I am very excited about that. So I've got a lot of bookings and work lined up for that week. And then I'll be in Fort Lauderdale for Halloween, which is always a very busy time. And pretty much the whole time I'll be painting for my Pride community there. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've heard of Wilton Manors in Fort Lauderdale, but it's a predominantly gay neighborhood and areas of nightclubs, and they have a huge festival and a parade, and so I'll be body painting for them as well. And I love creating my art for that community. I just love it.
So, can you talk a little bit about being embraced and being beloved in the LGBTQIA community?
I love it so much. I'm so grateful that they love my art and they support me. And I was recently studying the demographics of my business and trying to kind of categorize where my business is coming from, who are my clients, who's doing the bookings, who's commissioning me for events, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And about 50% of my business really stems from the Pride community. And I am so grateful. Like, that is a huge amount of financial support where I am paid equally for my art and I am treated with respect as an artist. And it is really refreshing to be appreciated and loved. And I'm just humbled and grateful and will paint everything that they ask.
Well, I think that we talked a little bit about your education in the fine arts painting and the slow master movement, but we didn't really talk about your style now.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that style meshes so well with
Body painting?
body painting, but also your style is very colorful, whimsical. You use, it's almost a friendly way of talking about social issues where you've got bright colors and glitter.
And it's beautiful.
And arabesques and,
And it's about really hard subject matter sometimes, or it's about things that people don't want to talk about. And I feel like, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but what if only our eyes saw souls instead of beauty? How very different our views of the world would be.
Oh, yeah. Well, so with the Pride community, it's all about freedom of expression and, this reclaiming of a sense of self, and
Or just claiming.
it's a celebration
A sense
of
of
self. Because for so long with the Pride community, we were told to sit down and shut up, and you could exist, but you had to exist at the fringes, and you had to, or you couldn't. People were killed and
Are still being killed for loving each other. And I think I think awareness and education is really key. And to go back to that, that's why I do my art, is to continue making people aware, and that they should, be aware of what's happening in the world today. And through social media and through how interconnected we all are and how we can all stay in touch and around the world through this, and the videos on social media, I think it's really bringing to the forefront the causes that so many people have suffered from for centuries.
Oh, absolutely.
And you are very mindful about your intention and purpose.
Yeah, I feel lucky. I've always known ever since I was a child that I am going to be a painter, and I've always known that my purpose in life is to create art. And however that's going to happen, I think I told my mom when I was 3, I'm going to be a famous painter one day. Good luck with this. She likes to remind me of that, and it's just like, I am one of the lucky ones that knows my purpose.
Yeah.
And I have the strength and the persistence, when times are tough or when it's hard, that I can ask for help, or I can host fundraisers, or I can do things, to bring my community together to support the art.
Yeah.
And it's really amazing how much my community, especially I'm from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and my Winston-Salem community is amazing. I don't know if I could do my art if I wasn't there, because they love me so much and they support me. And for Korea, yeah, thank you. Just to give you an example how extreme it is, when I was thinking of going to Korea, I had a total of $13 in my bank account. So,
Oh, boy.
And I had just come off of an art show where I was painting for myself for a month, so I didn't take any commissions, and I was expecting to sell the paintings at the show, and I had only sold one. And so it's like, okay, well, what am I going to do next? How am I going to buy 2 plane tickets, one for my assistant and one for myself? And you can imagine for Korea, it's about $1,000 to $1,500. That's just kind of generally what they cost. And so I decided to reach out to my local community and hosted an event. And through the event, we created a fundraiser. And in one night, we raised over $2,000. And within 24 hours of me posting online that I was creating this fundraiser, I had patrons calling, I had a Cash App link, and I was able to raise over $6,000 in under 48
wonderful.
hours.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. And it really goes to show how the art moves people.
Right.
Definitely.
People want me to go to Korea to create art, to be the only American that went and competed and represent my country, my city, and to do well, and to go and try and to do my art about these important, poignant subjects. So,
well, you've obviously known for a long time what you want to do.
Sure.
So for any of our listeners out there who are thinking about getting into this field at any age, what advice would you give them? What are the main...
Like the master painter told me, draw every day. So draw every day and don't give up, because there will be times when it's tough. You will have financial struggles. You will have, people sexually objectifying you or doing whatever. But you can't give up on that. And honestly, if I was working a corporate job, that would be tough.
Right.
I don't think I could get up every day and put a smile on and go print copies at a factory or whatever. So I think that no matter what happens, just keep persevering. Just keep doing it and believing in yourself. And for me, that was my biggest challenge when I realized all I needed to do was just simply believe in myself to make my dreams come true. Then they started coming true.
That's awesome.
You're manifesting your reality.
Exactly, speaking it into existence.
Well, I think as an artist, you create worlds within worlds with your artwork. So why not be able to do that with your own?
Exactly. And that's why I created the prosperity paintings that are now featured at your gallery.
Available online.
Gallery.com. So where can people find you online?
Okay. If you do a simple Google search of Cheryl Ann Lipstreu, that's my website, www.cherylannlipstreu.com. It'll pop right up. WordPress is great for that. I just launched my new website in July. It's been
It looks great.
Thank you. It's been a very big success. I worked really hard for the whole month of July on it. And I think that if they are interested in social media, just go to whatever social media I have, Facebook and Instagram, and it's all under my own name, so at Cheryl Ann Lipstreu. Okay. And there's links on my website as well.
All right.
Well, you talked a little bit about the community support, and we talked about social media and about the fundraising. And also a little bit about celebrity, and those all kind of tie in. Can you talk a little bit about that?
About being a celebrity or being a...
I think so, because you have stepped forward, and by stepping forward and being recognized as an accomplished artist,
Sure.
there is that support network behind you.
Yeah, I'm so lucky. I love my fans, and it just melts my heart. When I receive a little drawing in the mail that a child had done. This is Cheryl Ann Skinwars. You're my favorite artist. Like, for me, that's the best compliment anyone can ever tell me. You're my favorite artist, and it just humbles me again to prove that this is the purpose of my life, is to be this artist and to inspire others. So that celebrity status and syndrome where people get their egos all blown up, like, I'm not really interested in that type of fame, but I love the inspiration where people stop and they think, or they look at the colors and they look at the art and they look at the beauty, and then they're doing things for themselves.
Well, we saw that this weekend because you did face painting. And I remember one little girl getting so excited. She came every single day
to get painted. She did. And she even drew her own designs that I brought to life on her face for her.
And people got so excited to meet you. It was really amazing to see that.
Yeah. It's amazing to feel that. Like, I love the love. It's great.
One lady was just gushing out on the sidewalk. And it was really nice to see that they recognized and appreciated you coming all the way to little old Ligonier when you have been to Austria to paint, and China and Korea and Spain and Italy.
Yeah.
And the list goes on.
Yeah. It is amazing for me, and I love this experience, and I loved being on Skin Wars and the platform that it gave to put my art into people's living rooms. People literally can go home and Netflix and chill with my art.
That's awesome.
And then they can buy a painting.
And make a baby.
And then, so what is your ultimate goal and kind of dream fantasy of where you want to...
That's a good question. I've got a lot of ultimate goals. I have a vision board that's like 5 feet across, that's full. But part of my big plan is I would like to open a women-run gallery in downtown Winston-Salem. I'd like to eventually converge it to a museum, because we need a fine arts museum in downtown Winston, and we have a couple museums but not in the downtown area. So I would like to include artists that often get overlooked in museums, like folk artists and body painters and graffiti artists and all these different artists who are creating art every day, who are inspiring every day, and bring them more into a mainstream with the traditional fine art approach of having a gallery. So I believe that could be very successful, because you could walk into the gallery and have like this immersive art experience.
Especially being in a women-run business.
Right, and being a female entrepreneur, like to shine is... It's got its challenges, and I embrace them and keep pushing forward, and I have a lot of amazing women in my community who I've already, kind of hand selected. I want this woman to be my curator, and this woman to be my director, and this one to be, a salesperson, et cetera, et cetera. And I believe that opening the doors for opportunities for not just for myself to shine as a woman entrepreneur, but for other women in the community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there needs to be more women-run galleries and more women shining in this business, because it's definitely a very male-dominated business, the art world is.
Well, I think the rising tide raises all boats.
Yes, sir.
And you've been really good about using your celebrity status and your art to lift other people up.
And I enjoy that, and I want to always continue doing that, and I feel like that is part of my success, is that I have been concerned about others and lifting them up.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
We're so happy that we had the chance to talk with you today.
Yes, and hang out with you all weekend.
Thank you. Me too. I'm so grateful to be here, and Leonore is an amazing town. Everyone has been so kind.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, if you would like to find out more about Cheryl Ann, just go to www.CherylAnnLipstreu.com. And we thank you so very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day, all.